Hello and welcome to this video for Electropages. Today we're here at Nuremberg Embedded World 2025. We've had a really great time and we've seen some great projects, companies and devices all being released. Now today we're at the Rochester Electronics stand where they do some really cool stuff with old parts, old but new. And I'm joined by a very good friend from the company. Thank you very much for having us here today.
Thank you very much.
So just before we dive into the company's direction, what you do and all this kind of jazz, just tell the audience who you are, what you do and what you like to do in your free time.
Oh, good question. My name is Jan Schulz. I'm the sales director in the DACH region. What I like to do is selling components. What I like to do in my free time is, let's say like sports, something that's like outside of the normal.
Outside activities.
Outside activities.
So not too much of an engineer who continues to look for new parts and old parts in his free time as well.
Yeah.
Perfect. Fantastic. So we know you guys, we know what you do. You source old parts, new parts, parts that might become obsolete, parts that are obsolete to make sure that supply chains are secure for long-term design. So tell us what you guys are really offering and showing off today.
Okay. So I think, the obvious reason why we are existing is because there are still problems out in the market with regards to obsolescence. So we are trying to support our customers in the short term with our distribution network. So we are buying active devices, we are putting them in stock. So whenever you have these kind of situations in the semiconductor market, we are there in order to support them with our existing distribution network. Additionally, for the mid and long term, what we are doing is with regards to obsolescence part, we are buying the last products after the last time buy.
Yeah.
We are buying the licenses in order to keep on the manufacturing. Let's say like with even new date codes.
Oh, so when you talk about buying licenses, you're talking about making more dies as opposed to just keeping the dies? Or is it the licensing for the production of the dies into the packaging?
Yes, exactly. So we are trying to keep, let's say, like the existing supply chain as possible, so keep it alive.
And you can keep making that part in the same way for the next 20, 30, 40 years.
Exactly. So we are using the last remaining wafer dies, we store them correctly, and we put them in special packages and provide them with fresh date codes. And by doing that, form fit function wise, we can keep the same part number as the usual.
And if I remember correctly, I think you guys can actually repackage things into a different package if the customer wants it.
Exactly. We have the capabilities. We have a design team in Newburyport or in the States, so we can even replicate some devices, put them in special packages, or can even, let's say, like test them to higher temperatures. Yeah?
And that way you can make sure that it's going to work. And so you've got the backwards compatibility of the die itself, but you could have a new form factor to make sure that it could be in a smaller design. So you kind of like trading or sort of balancing between backwards compatibility and features for new things.
Absolutely correct. Yeah.
So let's talk about something I kind of want to ask a quick question on, which is about things like the COVID period and the chip sourcing and the stocks. It's been about 4 years now since we had that huge issue with the market and supply and availability. Since that time, what do you see currently happening at the moment? How are you now affected by all of that situation in the past? Where are we right now, essentially?
Okay. So maybe, going a little bit back in time with regards to COVID, obviously, let's say like our 15 billion parts on stock clearly helped a lot of our customers in order to get to this rough time with increased lead times. What we are doing right now is we keep on investing. We see more and more PCNs, more and more last time buys. So we are keeping investing in more, let's say like products. The real focus is that we are investing heavily also into different packages. So we see that obsolescence always occurs to not only a part being obsolete, but a whole, let's say, like package going obsolete. We are investing when others are stepping out of that. We are investing towards that because we can see a lot of customers still looking for PLCC packages. We are heavily investing where, for example, the likes of Amcor are getting out of this. Yeah?
And so a lot of these the packages you manufacture are actually brand new packages. So you can store dies, you can store parts, like on a reel.
Yes.
And you also manufacture new packages for dies to go into.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
So I've got a more of a specific question. I understand you may not be able to answer it because it's probably a bit more, what's the word? It's quite low level, but please tell me you've stocked Z80 CPUs, because they stopped making those about maybe a year ago or so, and they've been one of the most popular CPUs of the past sort of 40 years. It's a personal love of mine because I love it. It's been in so many famous computers, and I'm just curious, do you know if you've got them?
I mean, I would have to look into that in specifics.
Fair enough. It's quite a specific chip.
I mean, we have 15 billion parts on stock, 12 billion
quite
dies,
a lot of parts.
So we have to.
And I can't expect you to know all of them in one go.
Yeah. But I think that is a very good question, because our customers always come with specifics towards us. We are saying like, okay, we will check, let's say, like every inquiry. Even if we don't have an answer right now, what we're doing, we're getting back to our suppliers, we're getting back to our technicals, and we're coming back, let's say, like with a precise answer. Even if the answer is no, which kind of happens, that often helps our customers to make their decisions.
Now, one thing I've always been a bit curious about is, let's say that I've got a design and it needs a chip, and that chip's going to become obsolete. And you guys obviously can buy the dies up, you can buy the wafers up, you can store it so that if I ever need a part in the future, you can provide it. But what I'm curious about is, how does the procurement and pricing work? Because if I don't want to spend the money on a whole wafer, but I'm going to need parts for the next sort of like 10 years, do you buy those up and then you sort of distribute them, so customers don't have to come like front the price or front the cost of the whole wafer, basically?
Well, I mean, that is a very good question. And to be honest, I mean, every relationship with every supplier is like in real life.
It's different.
It's different, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have to look at, let's say, like a specific case. But in general, we can say, I mean, what we are doing with the suppliers, securing the wafers, all of this, then we have, let's say, like a lot of global customers out there. So we can, let's say, like we can offer solutions to customers without, let's say, like them securing a whole wafer, right?
So you might, so some devices you will sell as is, and so I could be a random customer who never met you before. Oh, I'd like some of those parts. Yeah, sure, buy them. Or I could be a very large customer or some unique customer and goes, oh, guys, can you buy me a wafer because it's about to go out, and can you store it for the next 10 years? And then you would have separate agreements with those customers.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. And so you get to have that very granular sort of relationship with every single person who walks through that door.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
I think, I mean, we have to stay as flexible as possible, because it's a dynamic surrounding.
Well, especially obsolete parts. It's, you know, like I say, it's a very difficult market to work with, because parts can become obsolete at any moment. You have to buy the dies up quickly. You have to store them. You have to anticipate what you're going to need. So I can imagine it's a logistical nightmare. I would have thought.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, also the Corona time showed that we always keep telling, let's say, like obsolescence should not be the key reason for, let's say, like getting out of your design as a customer, right? Because we are proud and we are confident in the products we are selling. And I think allocation and the Corona times showed that a lot of customers fall back from their new design to their old design, keep running it. We're very happy about, let's say, like an existing supply chain. So I think the value of an obsolete device, what we always like to say is, I mean, it's perfect. It's still there.
It's guaranteed.
It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
So there is, let's say, like good reasons in order to have these kind of discussions with us.
So now that we're over the COVID times, now we're sort of looking towards the future. What do you see as being one of the bigger challenges that engineers are now facing in the field of obsolescence?
I think at the moment, I would say it's the, how can I say that, unsecurity, or I mean, you see, let's say, like
the volatility, I think, might be the
geopolitical situations out there. It's also very unsure sometimes what kind of suppliers, what kind of tendencies they have with regards to packages. Let's say, like lines which should never been, let's say, like made obsolete are now cutting down because of cost reasons. So I think more than ever, I think it's important to have a communication with all people involved in your supply chain. If it's the standard distribution guys, your suppliers, but also, let's say, like network partners, niche players like Rochester Electronics, in order to grow this.
And this makes me kind of feel like that this is now more important than ever to make sure that engineers of projects and products and designs to constantly keep in contact with you guys. So even if they don't have any obsolete parts, it sounds like it might be important that engineers sort of just keep in touch and say, well, we use these parts. They're not obsolete at the moment, but then you know that they're being used, and then you can keep an eye on them. And then if they do start to go obsolete, you can go back and say, actually, guys, that part you use, it may not be around for that much longer.
Yeah, I think it's, as you said, it's very important to evaluate your options, right? And Rochester might be an option for you. And I think, what engineers more than ever need to understand, okay, this is a critical device, but what if it will be obsoleted in 6 months' time? What effect does it have? So not only, let's say, like having this in mind, but also the proactivity in talking about it as early as possible, because if we know this is a critical device from our customers, we can already immediately start having this kind of let's say like discussions with our suppliers. So we always like to say, talk to us as early as possible.
Fantastic. And one sort of issue that I personally know from obsolescence in these situations is that if the manufacturers never have to tell you when they're going to make something obsolete. And so I suppose what I'm going to ask you is, if you're an engineer who's out there, how do you anticipate that kind of obsolescence? How do you prepare for a situation where suddenly you're using this chip, it's being made, and one day they send an email notice, we're going to drop the line in 2 weeks' time. How does an engineer prepare for something like that?
I think, just by, let's say, like having the discussions with the suppliers or scanning in the market, it's almost impossible to prepare for that. I think the best thing you can do is have, let's say, like a good skill set of different partners at your side. For example, what we always like to say, we are also talking to the suppliers.
Yeah.
A lot of our customers are talking directly to the suppliers.
Yeah.
But we might talk to different departments, different people within these
You
suppliers.
might know something, exactly.
So we will not, I don't want to say that we are, let's say, like more clever or whatever, right? But it's a different angle, it's a different perspective.
Your entire business is having a very different relationship with the supplier than an engineer would. So an engineer goes, can you find me a part? They say, yeah, here's a part. Your relationship with that manufacturer is, I want to know exactly who's involved with the production line and the wafer sourcing, and I want to talk to them and have their email on standby, so if something happens, I can buy some parts. So Rochester Electronics, it's more than just a distributor of obsolete parts. It's a company that specializes in having that skill set in sourcing, in supplies, in having that relationship with the manufacturers, which engineers who are planning to make something that's going to last for the next 20 years, and they need to take advantage of. So, with that said, my last question to you, for those who are watching the video, if they want to get involved with Rochester Electronic Solutions, parts that you sell, and how they can tap into those special relationships, what would you recommend that they do?
First of all, contact us via email or via, let's say, like the contact details on our website. Speak to, let's say, like us, share your problems. That's very important, because we see us, as you said, not only as a distributor, more, let's say, like also as a consultant.
Yeah.
So it's important to understand what are, let's say, like the problems, what are the issues, what could this, let's say, like effect of an obsolescence cause at the customers, and then we can provide, let's say, like alternative solutions. We can try to provide, let's say, like the existing solution in a mid and long term. So I think the most important thing is, what we can recommend is, please contact us, talk to us, and share your issues, share your problems, and we will come with it, let's say, like a consultative solution to you. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to see us today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Real pleasure. Thank you.